In today's video, we are going to get into the ongoing conversation that is taking place regarding significant short exposure, offshore swaps, synthetic positioning, float ownership, debt restructuring, institutional conduct, and broader industry recovery in relation to AMC Entertainment Holdings. This is a narrative that has many facets, and when you put all of those facets together, you start to comprehend why this particular stock continues to be the subject of significant debate all over the market. Active participation from retail investors has been observed. It has been brought to our attention that certain individuals have declared publicly that they have purchased hundreds or even thousands of shares in a single day. A single example demonstrated the purchase of more than 900 shares in a single session. The situation is not unique in any way. Many long-term holders have reported owning share counts in the 4-digit or even 5-digit range, and some of them continue to accumulate shares on a weekly basis. When you take a look at the AMC Investor Connect community and potentially calculate average ownership levels that are comparable to those examples, simple mathematics reveals that the float might theoretically be accounted for many times within that group alone. Furthermore, this figure does not even take into account stockholders who are not actively participating in Investor Connect. It should be made clear that there is no number that has been formally validated that demonstrates that the float is owned numerous times over. The fact that there is still a lack of transparency about total exposure is something that investors continue to bring up. We are aware of the official number of floats. There have been reports of a short interest. On the other hand, the discussion revolves on whether or not the measures that are reported accurately reflect the whole situation. When it comes to the equation, visible short positions are just one component. Throughout the course of prior trading periods, the historical data has demonstrated that short positioning occurred around the 210 to 220 C levels. There is a possibility that the traders who open those positions may suffer additional pressure when the price moves closer to or beyond those initial levels. On the other hand, synthetic exposure, and more specifically offshore total return swaps, is something that a huge number of investors prioritize. When it comes to typical metrics for reporting short interest in the United States, these instruments are frequently not fully reflected. Several independent forensic assessments that are currently being disseminated on the internet imply that the exposure associated with swaps could potentially represent a substantially greater synthetic position than what is portrayed in traditional reporting methods. Regarding the roughly 1.7 billion synthetic shares that are linked to swap contracts, certain conversations are taking place. It is essential to emphasize that the figures presented here are interpretations made by a third party and are not data that has been officially certified. In the event that synthetic exposure is present on a significant scale, the primary argument that is being presented is that instruments such as ortex or regular short interest reports would not include them. Because of this, there are investors who believe that the official data for short interest may not accurately reflect the overall bearish positioning. Exposure to gamma radiation is yet another factor that is commonly suggested. Price movement could generate hedging activity that amplifies volatility if synthetic short exposure is structured through derivatives. This would bring about an increase in volatility. In theory, all that is required to bring about a quick shift in dynamics is a single large trigger. On the other hand, timing is something that no one can accurately foresee, and markets can continue to behave irrationally for a longer period of time than many people anticipate. Ownership of floats continues to be a source of discussion. There is a figure that is frequently discussed that suggests that if members of Investor Connect had an average of approximately 285 shares each, then they would collectively account for complete flow of shares. The reasoning explains how a wide distribution of shares among retail investors could theoretically indicate large ownership concentration. However, it should be noted that this is hypothetical mathematics and not data that has been proven. The question of institutional buying adds another layer of complexity to the subject. There have been reports that indicate that institutions have been purchasing tens of millions of shares during periods of time when retail mood indicates significant holding behavior. Considering that ordinary investors are not selling in big quantities, there are some investors who are curious about how liquidity can become available. This is where the controversy regarding synthetic shares comes back into play. In terms of the company's overall financial situation, AMC has been making efforts to improve its balance sheet. First, lean term loans and senior secured notes with a rating of B have been suggested by the company, which is indicative of restructuring activities undertaken with the intention of improving financial flexibility. It is common practice to approach the process of raising capital through share offerings and refinancing debt in two distinct ways. On the other hand, supporters emphasize the need of improving liquidity and reducing the risk of insolvency, while critics focus on dilution. By increasing its financial reserves, AMC is able to make investments in infrastructure, improve theater experiences, reduce its debts, and extend maturities. A reduction in existential risk can be achieved through increased liquidity. From a financial perspective, comparative analysis of industries provides another layer. Strong performance has been demonstrated by businesses such as IMAX Corporation and Cinemark Holdings, with IMAX achieving a 52-week high in the midst of a recovery in box office revenue. It seems to reason that IMAX will reap the benefits of a comeback in theater revenue and the success of premium formats. Cinear has also witnessed significant momentum, particularly in the midst of strategic developments in the streaming industry, such as decisions made by Netflix to refocus operations. This is a straightforward question that many investors ask, considering that the sector is showing signs of improvement and that competitors are reaping the benefits. Why does AMC's price not reflect that improvement proportionally? Despite the high volume, some people believe that this is due to extensive algorithmic trading patterns, which are frequently referred to as barcoding. These patterns involve price trading inside narrow, repeated bands. There were other sessions in which the price moved very little since the volume of shares traded was greater than 20 million. Although this does not constitute evidence of manipulation, it does lend to doubt regarding the discovery of genuine prices. As we look to the future, forecasts indicate that box office revenue in the United States might hit $11.9 billion by the year 2027, potentially surpassing the levels that were before the epidemic in 2019. In the event that this estimate comes true, prominent theater chains such as AMC would theoretically be able to take part in the expansion of the business. Another noteworthy data point pertains to the contribution of revenue to EPR properties. In recent reporting periods, AMC accounted for about 13.6% to 13.7% of overall revenue, which demonstrates the significance of its operational role within the theatrical ecosystem. All of this lends credence to the notion that AMC continues to hold a structurally strong position within the industry. In addition, broader macro factors are important. Systemic stress can be caused by a number of factors, including increased insider selling in certain industries, increased volatility in technology stocks, and leverage contraction. Throughout the course of history, short squeezes are frequently caused not only by news pertaining to a particular company, but also by large liquidity events. There's also been a lot of attention paid to institutional positioning in frequently publicized names like GameStop, which includes increased stakes by consulting firms. In the meantime, market participants like Citadel LLC, Virtue Financial, and Jane Street have been subjected to investigations by the judicial system in a variety of settings. The filing of a lawsuit does not constitute an act of misconduct. Nonetheless, it contributes to the discussion over market structure and transparency. As a result of discussions over quip number adjustments in previous occurrences, such as MMTLP, investors are increasingly concentrating their attention on settlement mechanics and synthetic exposure theories. Furthermore, regulatory moves in markets such as South Korea, where stronger enforcement of naked short